Everyone, welcome back to the garage. Today we're working on the Jeep. It's got a leaking transmission, obviously. It's on the list, something we need to knock out. I've got the new pan here, the gasket. I got all kinds of fluid here. We're going to change this one. This has got a bolt in it, so I can drain it, service the transmission fluid on the regular. Awesome. Also got a new pan gasket. This is a good pan gasket. Obviously, I rebuilt the tranny last November, kind of cheaped out a little bit. Used a quart gasket. Oh no, well it's leaking now about 8 months later. So we're gonna go ahead and climb under there and see what we can do to knock this out. Okay, so here is the transmission pan that is leaking right down the side here. It's got, I rebuilt this last November, probably October. It was hot out, but it's leaking. I cheaped out. I bought the quart gasket. I knew better, but I was trying to save a few bucks, and now I'm paying the price. So I'm gonna get this pan down. We're gonna go ahead and drain the fluids, and we'll get the new one up, and hopefully we're good to go. Excuse the noise. It's freaking Arizona. It's hot. I got the AC in the background, and you're gonna have it the rest of the summer. Hopefully it doesn't bother you. If it does, I'll turn it off come this fall, and it'll be way better. But here we go. This is changing the transmission gasket. I should probably learn how to use the time-lapse feature. Alright, I'm going to loosen these skid plate bolts here just one at a time on these old TJs. The frame's kind of rust out a little bit, so I do it by hand just to avoid screwing it up. I've already welded in a few new threads on this frame, so I don't feel like doing the rest of them right now. Jeep didn't want to put a cross member under here, so they use this transmission as the cross member, or the skid plate. So you gotta always hold up the transmission with something else, and then you can drop the skid plates. Not sure what the thought was behind that. Probably cost saving. Alright, I got it soaking in a little bit of super clean. And let that soak. I use that on everything, so should take it right off. Take it outside and wash it after that. Alright, here I'm just taking a couple at a time. I'll kind of try to drain this fluid a little bit. Sad because it's not that old, but I mean, you can't, I guess, save them all. Gonna let that drip for a minute, kind of let out the fluids, and once it gets to a slow drizzle, I'll start leaning it to one side or the other, and we'll catch this mess. While I'm waiting on that transmission fluid to do something, I'm gonna come down here and grease these joints. This is a they call it a double cardone joint, and I'm gonna put a little grease in it. I don't see it that often because somebody put a skid plate on top of it. Some leaking by over here. It's alright. Little escapees. Fan just leaks from everywhere. It's hard to catch it all. We're doing our best. Probably drop this corner down a little bit. Worst part is it wants to get all over your tools. The pan slopes this way, so I'm gonna try to catch it. That's really coming out of there now. Shouldn't take long to make something of that. Alright, Internet, I put some gloves on here. I know you guys are going to eat me alive for not doing it, so. And this stuff's bad for you. So I put it on. Make this right. got it all opened up. I guess I'll show you what it looks like so you can see it. That's the valve body right there. That's all been redone. I went through it, drilled it out, put a shift kit, all that in it just last year. So we'll get all this silicone cleaned off around it. It'll be real easy, and then we'll get this put together. Alright, I just use a razor blade. These things are like a dime a dozen. And you can clean it, unless you're shaving your face with it, then you're going to pay a premium. But in the meantime, for silicone, I just use a razor. And it cleans it up real good. Plus, I've already cleaned this up once. Like I said, 8 months ago. So it'll be super easy. Oh man, that silicone is just, it didn't seal. Alright, so everything looks real good, but I got this one spot on this side, not the leaking side, but it looks like it's got a little damage to it. I'm going to hit it with a file, see if I can't clean it up a little. It's just aluminum, so it should go real easy. Let's smooth it right out. It's even external, it's done on the inside of the sealing surface, so just to make it smooth, that way I can get a good seal. Oh, that's like perfect. Okay, well, here we go, everybody. We're going to put in this new pan and this new gasket. We're just going to try to wipe off the excess fluid here and hope that maybe we can hold it off long enough to get a good seal. I mean, I think it'll kind of push past it a little bit, but it's just kind of a way of life here. Is that the right pan? Alright, well, it says it's right. Everything looks right. We're going to try again, see what happens. You know what? You got to hold it correctly. You can't just throw it up there. Alright, we'll go this way. This will make the difference right here. Try to put this thing up backwards, it'll just tell you no. So don't do it. Alright, look at that. Freaking progress. Not too bad a job, really. Just a little bitty leak. Alright, the inner web is telling me this is 14.5 foot-pounds. That's as tight as it needs to be. That's it. That's a brand new pan, so it's a good idea just to make sure this is snugged up. You can never assume that it's tight. Okay, it's got a washer behind it for sure. We'll just snug it up. Alright, there it is, installed, clean. We need to put the pan in, and we are gonna add some fluid. Gonna pop in the skid plate spacer here. I believe it goes right there. Same thing on this side. Pop in the spacer. There we go. Start a couple of bolts. These bolts can be a little bit of a turkey to get lined up right sometimes, but once you get them in, you're usually good to go. Sorry, I had to take a break. I had to move some stuff outside, but the transmission pan is on. It is done. It's new gasket, ready to roll. Get this hood up, we'll get some fluid in, and we'll run it, make sure it's the right level. I ran into one problem, and that's that this hood here is kind of blocking, or my roof blocking the hood. So I'll prop that up and make it where we can work with it. Alright, so this is going to be I'm going to need at least 4 cores. So I'm going to pour all 4 in there, and it's just going to be slow. This is a slow process. Get all 4 in there, and then we'll run it, and it'll probably need another one. But you got to start slow. And it's a transmission dipstick, so it doesn't breathe and it just glows down very, very slowly. It's actually a very painful process, but we're going to get past this and hopefully wrap this project up. Alright, if you're like me, you probably don't want to buy any of these things because nobody can recycle them or do anything with them, but you really only have to buy one. and then you can just refill it and use it for one for gear oil, one for ATF. Have one for each project. And I'm going to use this one for putting ATF in that hole, because it's going to be a lot faster than waiting on a freaking funnel that's just gravity feeding through a tiny hole. I should have looked first. Well, I got a wasp wedged down in there. That's why it's not flowing. See, I was thinking that funnel was going to drive me to drinking, and turns out it was just clogged. I'm going to try this again, see if it'll flow at a normal rate of speed. That is so much better. Holy cow. I should have caught on to that, but I didn't. By the way, that bag works phenomenal. Just pumped it in really quick. Recommended. I used it on my transfer case, which is the first time I've ever ran that fluid, so I couldn't recommend it at this time. But it's in my transfer case. Maybe when I change it someday, we'll all examine it, see what it looks like. What kind of oil do you guys run for ATF? This is the last quart here. Going in. We'll after this, we'll run it and we'll check it, and we'll check our level and see where it's at. My entire life, I've been told never overfill an automatic transmission. It will kill it right out of the gate. And for some reason, this 42 RLE that they put in these Jeeps, these guys swear by overfilling them. And they say if you don't, they just won't run right. So all that stuff. So I have overfilled this one and had no problems out of it. Doesn't mean you should. I'm going to actually try to put it at the right fill level because it never had a problem there. But weird. Really weird, to tell you the truth. Get past all this scaffolding here. I'll clean up some of my mess. And we'll see what happens. Alright, let's check her blood here. She's full. Okay, that's it. That is our transmission pan. It's done. We've ran it. It doesn't show any signs of leaking. I'm going to let it set overnight, and we're going to see what it looks like in the morning and make sure there's no leaks. I'll check the level again, and we'll make sure it's good to go. The last thing we got to do is we got to mark this off our to-do list or our to-done list. So let's see here. What is that anyway? Transmission pan. Right there, done. Next, obviously we got thermostat, speakers. I think I'm going to shoot for gears next because I've got a trip coming up in July that I want to have those done for. I don't know if I'll fix the top damage, but I will do the nut certs before I put that top on. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and we'll catch you on the next one. Later.